2, 1. Martha, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tell everybody about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am a cosplayer. I guess that's the only thing about me that's interesting. And I have a lot of cats, but I'm a cosplayer. That's it. That's what people care about anyway. So.
Oh, I'm sure they care about your sparkling personality too.
I mean, I don't know about sparkling personality, but
you genuinely have a great personality. I love it. Every time I meet you, it's like a extra bit of sunshine in the room.
Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you. You make me blush, man. Don't do
that. Well, we got to get that. We got to get that cover photo. So I probably need you to actually blush.
I mean, it's not hard. Like, it's really, really not hard. It's a little embarrassing how easily I blush. I've lost where I am on this thing already. But yeah, I'm ridiculous. I blush so easy.
That must be really wild being like as notable as a cosplayer as you are. Just like, I'm sure every person that sees you is just like, I love your stuff, you're so beautiful, etc., etc. And then you're just sitting there just gleaming and they're like, I made her day. It's like, no, just anything does that.
it's a little weird. Actually, you want to know the funniest thing is, like, sometimes, okay, you want to hear the worst, like, somebody recognized me story ever?
Go for it.
When I turned beet red, it was terrible.
Go for it.
Okay. I was in Target and I actually had the flu. This was like 2 years ago or so. And I had the flu. And like when you're sick and you're just like, I just need cough drops and some ginger ale and to not die in the store. That's all I need right now. You know where we are.
No, because men are comatose when they have the flu. Females actually get up and like, I still got stuff to do. Men are like, the world is dead to me. Anyone ups me, it's a gun. It's a gun to the.
I mean, it's a thing. I still had stuff, and it was really funny too because I remember like I went for, like I said, for like medicine and stuff like that, but also because I needed a new pair of craft scissors because I was still working. But anyway, so I roll up in the Target and I'm in like the nastiest, holiest, grossest like t-shirt and sweatpants, the ones I've been painting in, sick, gross hair, no makeup, anything like that. I go through the checkout line and I kid you not, as I'm sitting there in the checkout line trying not to die in front of this person, he looks at me and he goes, I recognize you from somewhere.
Oh no.
And I'm just like, oh no. And then he's like, you're a Little Red Fox cosplay. I follow you on Instagram. And I'm just standing there and I like turn beet red. And I'm just like, I am so sorry.
No. Oh, I'm sure he doesn't need you to apologize. His day's made. It
was terrible. It was so bad. So, random Target guy, I'm so sorry. Still, I'm absolutely mortified by that. But I mean, it was sweet. But like, also, holy yikes.
Oh God, I can only imagine. So we kind of got off a bit. So you cosplay, but as we can all see right now, you're actually painting a arm guard of some kind.
Yes, this is for Batwoman. I'm building Batwoman for the CW right now. So
now you're building it for the CW, or she's from the CW, because those are two. Like, I may have to edit this. CW may not be happy if we're like,
it's actually our local CW affiliate has what they call CW superfans, and so for each month they would profile creatives in the area. So like they've profiled a couple of our local streamers, the guy who owns like the local game store and stuff like that. Bunch of really cool people. And I'm the last one. And so I'm actually making a Batwoman costume and documenting my process, and they're sharing that all month. So I'm doing some behind the scene work. I've got the other arm guard is in pieces still, and I'll put it together. But it's kind of like cooking shows where like you see them put all the ingredients and then they slide the thing in the oven and the whole thing comes out like 2 minutes later.
I hate it because they already have it in the oven cooking and you see it and you're like, in all honesty, if they just did a time lapse, just like took an hour or 2 hour break and just time lapsed it, that would be way more better. It's like, and magically my oven has produced this.
I know. It's like poof, magic. And so like, yeah. So this is basically, I'm working on the magic part right now. But I'm doing that all this month. So I really am making a Batwoman costume for our local CW affiliate so that they can stream the build process and show people how to do this.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So that's Mobile, right? You live in Mobile.
Yes, that is Mobile. Yeah.
Okay. See, yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, that's great. And kind of jealous because that'll never happen to me. The most I'll ever get is like maybe like WTVY, and it's like, hey, gotta try something. It's kind of working. Let's we have nothing to do on Thursday afternoon, but you get like your whole little like mini series on CW Mobile, and it's.
I mean, you never know. You know, maybe it's something that like the other affiliates will kind of watch and say, hey, that took off. You know.
Oh, I wish it did.
It would be really cool. I think it's neat the way that they've taken the time to profile, some of the creative nerds in the area.
Oh yeah, the creative nerds are definitely shining right now with everything going on. I mean,
right?
They didn't have anything to do to begin with. Now they get to work from home, and it's like, oh. It's magical. You could literally be sitting at your desk right now on your computer, doing whatever you do, and just like knitting, painting, foam crafting, or whatever.
I mean, I'll be real with you. I work in accounting. Sometimes when I was in the office, I'm still in the office a good bit, but I did. So I would still sit there. Like, I remember one time I was actually making pom-poms for Pennywise. And it was right before Christmas, right before Halloween. I'm already getting the story wrong. And one of our other employees came in and she's like, oh, are you making Christmas decorations? I'm like,
no.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, let's just go with that. That's fine. She wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, she actually might have. Those they kind of came out when the freaks really came out the woodwork whenever those movies came out, and a lot of people are just like, I guess we should associate with this now.
They really did, and that's cool. That's one of the things I really love. And then back on the CW thing, all of their shows, it's comic book stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love that all this comic book stuff is becoming mainstream. And same thing with the Marvel movies and all that. Like, they took some fairly the Muggles maybe didn't know them characters and made them mainstream, and that's kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, and I've always said, like, we've never had the ability, but I guess we really do now with streaming. But series like 10, 12, 24 episode series are way better than a movie if they had the movie budget.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because a lot of these stories are so complicated, it's so much better to spread them out and give them the time that they need to kind of tell the full story and let the characters develop. It's important.
It really is. It is. And it, like you said, like, I remember when I first saw like Arrow, like the first episode. It's like, I am Oliver Queen, and it's like, I am here to save my city. I was like, fuck yeah! Arrow like 2 or 3 times, and now he's like a staple DC character.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's one of the things that has been kind of a change over the last couple of years. When I first really started putting a lot of effort into the cosplay thing, it predated Arrow. And one of the costumes I have always done, she's been on my roster for a long time, has been Black Canary. I do comic book version Black Canary, not the TV show Black Canary. And at first, the comic book nerds would get it. They knew who it was immediately, no question. But a lot of muggles didn't. But now, like, I can wear the comic book version of Black Canary, and it still gets recognized, like when you go out in public with just normal people. So that's kind of cool that they've even gone beyond, the TV shows, and now they recognize the characters as they are in the comics, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, and the comic, I was surprised you said that, because Well, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense for you to have like TV show Black Canary because she wasn't around to like season 3 or 2 or 3, late 2, early 3.
Right.
But like, it's really difficult with some of these comic Marvel and DC characters because they are fairly risque. They are
yeah.
It's very obvious who created these characters. A bunch of 50-year-old white dudes that are just like, yes, no, definitely.
I mean,
it's like
that's the whole Power Girl joke. They kept making that boob window bigger and bigger and bigger until they were like, y'all got to cut this out.
Right. They made Wonder Woman's weakness in the comic BDSM. I was like, she's tied up and she's powerless. Whose fantasy are you indulging? Because
it's wild. It's I love it though. Like I seriously do. I love it. I think it's great. Get it, y'all.
It's almost so blatantly unnecessary. It borders on hilarity.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's gotten to the point where you're like, this is so ridiculous.
And laughing at it, even though it's like really wild.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
It is. I mean, it really is. But so you do a type of cosplay that's you have a lot of like cloth cosplays, like with clothes and stuff that you trim up, and you do have a lot of foam craft, right?
Right.
See,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of people that do like foam craft and cardboard craft. Like there's this Japanese dude that makes like Monster Hunter weapons out of cardboard, and they're operational. And I'm like, that you should be getting paid for that, and you better be monetizing those videos.
Oh, I'm sure that he is at some level. You gotta. I mean, come on.
It really is. So how long does it take for you to like, well, what is it, first of all, what does it take to get in the door? Like of foam crafting in general. Let's just stick to foam crafting.
It's not as bad as what you would think. I'm actually working on, this is foam right here. This is a 6mm craft foam, or 6mm EVA foam, and 2mm craft foam on top of it. The black part is craft foam, the gray part is EVA. And I mean, you can get started on foam. I order mine online because I've gotten kind of picky about it.
Yeah.
You can start with foam floor mats. They're super cheap at like Harbor Freight. Just those like anti-fatigue floor mats, those things work great. And that's honestly where we started before all these guys came out with these cool lines of neat foam. Even with the fancy foam, I mean, like this one, what I'm using is it's SKS foam, and it's kind of top of the line. But I just ordered another pack of 10mm, 6mm, and 2mm because I'm out. And I'm in the middle of so many projects, I'm just running through it right now. And I mean, it was still like, under $40 for all of that. So yeah, it's super inexpensive. Foam is actually one of the most economical ways to get into it. And what you need the most with foam, freaking box cutters.
Yeah.
With blades and nothing to it. Just sharp blades is the biggest thing. Is box cutters, a heat gun, and mine's I've always used just like, cheap ones. It's nothing special. And Dremels. A lot of people have a Dremel anyway. That's pretty much that's how you get into foam. Those little pieces right there, and it's so easy.
Yeah, there's not many gatekeepers. Like the foam is probably your most expensive thing. Everything like a $20 Dremel kit from Walmart.
Yeah.
Like $5 box blade from Walmart. I mean, yeah, that doesn't really sound that crazy, but
no, it's
painting
really
is
not.
a whole different gate to go through. But so you do a lot of these for commission, right? Or are you primarily your own? Like you've got your own little closet.
I do a little bit of both. I like to do mostly my own stuff just because I get kind of emotionally attached to these things when I spend so much time with them.
Oh God, I could only imagine.
It's like, this is my baby and I love it and I don't want to send it anywhere. But I do a little bit of commissioning work. It kind of depends on the project. I do a lot of, as far as commissioning goes, one of the things that I do a lot of is bodysuits.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've noticed, I do a lot of those in my costuming, and they're fast for me.
Yes, you do. And they are hits.
Yeah, well, see, I can knock them out really quickly. It's one of the things that I'm particularly good at. When I first started, I'm sorry, Pip. I'm gonna need you to go away. I have a cat up here knocking my stuff over. So.
Oh yeah, no. I had to lock my cat in another room. I'm like, you just want to come for this keyboard. You want nothing else.
This one is just, I mean, we call her, she's our little crackhead. She's got like a little white patch on her nose, and she's just a hot mess all the time, hot mess. But yeah, anyway, I do a lot of bodysuits. When I started sewing, I started sewing when I was a kid, and I was helping my mom with dance stuff. We were all, I'm one of 5 girls, and we were all dance. I know, right? We were all in dance and theater. So my mom worked in the costume shop. She was a great seamstress, still is a great seamstress. I'm better than her now, though. She'll tell you that too. But I learned how to work with sewing machines. I learned on stretch fabrics. So bodysuits were just one of those things that I can them from the fabric being on the bolt to putting it on my body in about 2 hours. So
see, yeah, that's a really undervalued skill, because like I see like a bolt of cloth and I'm like, a poorly made blanket. It's like that's like, because it's not even a useful blanket, because everyone in my age group throws away the flat sheet. We have the comforter and the fitted. Like we don't even.
I love the flat sheet. I'm a spoiled little human, and I love the flat sheet.
What? I've not used it. I think we had the electricity go out for 3 days, and I was like, surely we must have a flat sheet. I'm tearing the house apart because it's so hot with the wind blowing. And I'm like, this comforter is doing its job way too good, and I need a flat sheet and a shirt, and that's it. Anything else, I'm sweating. And I'm like, we couldn't have thrown away all the flat sheets. That's impossible. Yeah, no.
Keep a flat sheet. It's important.
No. I just end up kicking them to the bottom of the bed, and they're on the floor now.
Oh, see, I love flat sheets. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
But I remember watching like Duck Dynasty, like in the middle of its like maybe a little after its peak, and they were talking, and like all the ladies were talking about, how do we sew this, how do we sew that, and like the older guy Phil pops up and like sews that shit up. He's like, every man's got to know how to sew. I'm like, who decided that was a law?
You know what though? I agree with that. I absolutely agree. I have said that for years. Honestly, everybody should learn at least some very rudimentary sewing. You should know how to fix a button and how to fix a dropped hem.
Yeah.
Those two things you really, really need, because they happen to everyone, and they're literally 5-minute fixes, and you just need to know how to do it.
It is crazy, because I could, in theory, get a $200, like not polo, but maybe a polo, I don't know. But like a collared shirt, break off the buttons, and then instead of someone knowing how to sew it, maybe they're smart enough to use YouTube, and they're just like, they're out of a $250 shirt because they don't know how to sew the button back on.
Exactly. And it's so easy. It will take you literally minutes.
I mean, it's a YouTube video. Like, never before has information been more accessible than right now.
Isn't that the best? It's such a great thing.
And that must be really beneficial to the next gen phonecasters, because I'm sure YouTube channels upon YouTube channels, cinematic universes comprised of people of, please watch me teach you this thing for free for the ad revenue. Like, they're not even charging you. It's not like a Skillshare course where you got to spend $50 for the gate fee. It's free, and please like and support my channel.
Bingo. And there are a lot of really amazing builders on YouTube, and they all are doing that. They're doing exactly that. They're teaching stuff free. And I mean, it's so great. I mean, I think back to like when I started all this, and I'm like, you know, back in the day when we had cardboard and cheap Halloween satin, and we were glad for it. And there was no way. You just kind of had to like stumble through and figure it out.
Yeah. Oh God, I could only imagine just the trial and error. Like it must have
Yeah.
been, and then all the wasted products. So even though you'd be like, you would get to the YouTube channel, and maybe at the beginning they're like, okay, guys, all you're gonna need is 7 panels of this foam, 6 panels of this, and you probably had to buy double of that just for the trial and error process.
Yep, that is the case. But so you know what's really funny?
That hit me.
We're going back to fitted sheets now. One of the things that a lot of cosplayers do, not so much with foam, but more with like fabric and stuff like that, when they're not entirely sure how they're going to make something and put it together, they will go to the thrift store and buy up all of the flat sheets and use those because you can make it out of the flat sheet and kind of play with it and figure it out. And then you take that apart and that's your pattern. So that's where all your flat sheets are going.
Oh, I was like, yeah, no, they're donating the flat sheets. That's exact. It's like maybe some poor unfortunate soul can use this. It's like, no, it's going to cosplayers.
I mean, to be real,
they're making poison ivy costumes, and that's where you. It's like that's a good place for your donation to go. I support that donation 100%.
I mean, we are innovative in our use of materials.
Exactly, because trial and error that can cost you a lot of money.
It does. It's really one of those things, like I say it in my panels all the time, that you can have it good or you can have it fast, you can have it cheap. You can have 2 of the 3, but you can't have all 3.
Yeah.
And inevitably, it's going to be the cheap one that gets left behind.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, even if you're just like, I can remember so many like I used to watch The King of Random, Backyard Scientist, and they do all these projects, and they're like, here's what we do. It's like it took me trial and like that. A lot of them will like show their receipts like at the left hand side, and they're like, through trial and error, this is exactly like I had to run through all these different products where I'm showing you this video and it will cost you exactly $50, but it took me like $150 in R&D,
Right.
just in the product alone. And I'm like, we truly are in like blessed times. It's fantastic.
Isn't it though? It's great.
It really, like even right now, I can remember like my friends, like I sent my friends like clips or links to different YouTube channels, like with the stock market or something, and they're just like, well, I've got nothing better else to do and a $1,200 check, so and they're sitting like, I'm at $3,000 now, and I'm just like, great.
Awesome.
Yeah, because again, the stock market, that was something I remember. Like my grandpa would always look at it, and I'm like, Grandpa, I want to get in the stock market. He's like, do you have the $500 a year brokerage fee? Because I don't. And right now, you literally download an app. You look at the dudes on YouTube and make the Robinhood people are making more money than the actual market is, just with like AI and stuff.
Yeah, that's a fascinating app.
Oh my God, I love it. Like every spare penny I get goes straight to that app.
I feel you.
Oh, it's so good.
Every spare penny I get goes straight into cosplay. It's an expensive hobby.
Oh well, your ROI is way better cosplaying. Like, there's no way. Like, your money is well better spent cosplaying because how much, like, if you don't mind sharing, how much would it take for like your Monster Hunter cosplay that you did? What did that cost initially, up to what the market value of that would be, if that's something you wouldn't mind?
Well, so the funny thing about that is that it's made of scraps, so it cost me nothing.
It's free.
It was free.
Exactly. That does nothing but prove my point. It was literally free, and it's probably like $500, $600.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could sell it for some money. It's that's been kind of my goal this year, has been because I have so much stuff that I've accumulated.
Yeah.
So much fabric, so much material. And I've been trying to use it to make things and just like see how far I can go on my stash without buying anything. So that's been a fun experiment.
Oh my God, I could only imagine. So you also like you said earlier, you show up to Comic Cons and they have you as a cosplayer. You do mostly just panels and judging, and like if people want to come by and get your autograph.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. I generally judge the cosplay contest, and I do at least one panel a day. I enjoy panels, so I'm always like, yeah, wherever you've got a spot that you need, something to put there, just throw me in there. I'm fine. I have jumped in for people who's like, they've been like, this panelist didn't show up. Do you mind? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Give me 10 minutes. So, but that, and then yeah, just sitting by the table and saying hey to people.
Yeah, literally all panels are just like they're asking the questions. You really don't have to come up with anything. Like you're there, they ask a question, and you just answer.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is just yeah, a lot of questions, which is great. I mean, I love the fact that people want to know how to get into this and what to do with photography. That's one of the things that I've been like doing a lot of panels on lately, has been like working with like cosplayers and photographers and that whole dynamic, because a lot of people don't understand, how do you find a photographer? What should you be looking for in a contract? All these kinds of business type parts of it. They get the creative part maybe, but they maybe don't understand the business side.
What should you be looking for in a contract?
Generally with photographers, you want to make sure that the time, the locations, all those things are spelled out, set in stone. If there's payment, that needs to be set in stone. If there are any rights to share things, because with photographers, and one of the things that people don't understand a lot of times is that the photographer owns the image.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that it's their image, and it's not. It's still the photographer's image. And so you have to get print rights or media rights or whatever that is, and you need all that spelled out in the contract. Most of the time, photographers, I mean, they know this is what this is for, and they come in expecting it. I mean, I have a bunch of photographers I work with that will come up, and once we finish shooting, they will deliver 2 folders to me. One is media images, ready for media with watermarks and stuff like that. And the other one, a lot of times, is print. And they won't have a watermark on them. And I'm always like, you can leave your watermark on a print. I don't care. It's your shot. But, a couple of them been like, no, I'd rather have the actual shot that I produced as opposed to having this thing on. And that's fine too. That's a personal preference for the photographer. I don't care one way or another.
Yeah, because I remember, I think it was a year, maybe a year and a half ago. I mean, this year's been so long, it boggles.
It's been like 10 years. What are you talking about?
Right. It's been 10 years since normalcy. But I remember Ariana Grande got in some deep shit for posting one of her little her little round pics or whatever it is. Just one of the pictures that a dude took. And it was his picture, and she's just like, oh, this looks cute, Instagram. And he's just like, the fuck is this? This is my picture.
Yep.
What are you doing with my property? And it's like, that's her face, though, dude.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. They still own those rights, and a lot of people that's really confusing for them. And it's like, I understand it, and a good photographer in the cosplay community, and I know and work with some amazing photographers that I love and respect their family to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am not particularly comfortable in front of a camera, so
surely not. That is
it's
wow.
True. I'm really not. Like, I have to gas myself up so hard to get in front of a camera. It is not natural to me.
That is hysterical.
I know, right? It's like, how did I get into this? I am the biggest, shyest introvert who's terrified of cameras, and how am I doing what I'm doing? I don't know. But yeah, so a good photographer, they understand that it's a collaboration, and you're the one that's making this insane costume for them to shoot, and they're the one that's producing this insane image. And so the good ones really look at it as a collaboration, and they respect you and you respect them, but the respect has to go both ways. It's important. So yeah,
that is hysterical. As someone who distributes hundreds of candid shots per Comic-Con, per weekend, per day, and you're just like, nah, I don't really like getting my picture taken.
I am really like, it's so funny. I mean, you can ask my photographers. Like, what you want to know, like, the funniest thing to me is some of the most popular shots that I have ever done. Is one of my earliest photo shoots is actually still kind of keeps coming up every time I ever check my Instagram. There's a couple of pictures from the very first shoots that are like always in that top 5. They stay in that top 5. It does not matter what you, for likes, for reactions, for insight, all of it. They're just always in that top spot. And they're from the first couple of professional shoots that I did with my friend Lauren. And I am hammered in all of those shots because I was so terrified. Because, you know, we were in a studio setting and there was a camera in front of me and there were lights and I was so scared. And I sat there and drank like a whole bottle of wine. Forget the cup. There was no glass. There was no nothing. I was just drinking out of the bottle like a heathen. And I was like, yeah, I was trashed. And everyone loves those images. And I'm just like, you guys, oh my God.
Well, I mean, that definitely has something to be attributed to, like, you know, that TikTok with that Hispanic dude on his skateboard drinking the Ocean Breeze cranberry juice. It's like that's I really feel like that type of that not trying really, like, people really can identify that on a subconscious level.
Yeah,
like,
we connect with that realness.
Yeah, that because he's just chilling. He's just cruising down the street with his ocean spray, just like you were, just completely inebriated and just not even thinking about it. And those are your best pictures.
Yeah, I was dancing. I was drunk dancing.
And that's another reason why I think podcasts are so popular. It's because, like, I didn't call you before this. I didn't have a line of questioning. I may have messaged you like, hey, is there anything you do not want to talk about? And you're like, no. I'm like, dope.
Yeah, no, I'm one of those. I'm like, no, let's do this.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. There's no scripting. There's no nothing.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know. That's one of the, like, coolest things, I guess, now, you know, with all of everything that's going on, is just how open, speaking of open, my paint is not. Look at this. So I'm playing with these paints. It's the first time I've really used a lot of these paints, and I'm completely in love with this line. But, like, I hate they have the little foil seal thing, and I'm like, this is the bane of my whole existence.
No.
Yeah, and it doesn't peel easy. That's the only complaint I have, is their foil seal does not peel easy. And I end up with paint under my fingernails.
Quality of that paint. You have that 0.1% of moisture leakage, and the quality of that paint is like, ain't worth it anymore.
I know. It's really, honestly, this is like this is a really great paint. That's the other really cool thing is as cosplay has become more mainstream, and you know, the manufacturing companies are paying attention to us. And like, this is actually the paint that I'm using now is a paint that was specifically made for foam because it bends. It's an acrylic paint that doesn't crack when it flexes. So that's really cool. So flexible acrylic paint. And that's kind of a game changer, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That was always something that we fought with.
Yeah, or like some cheap chemical additive that, like, dissolves the foam, and now you've got, like, bumps and bruises.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's another thing I've really noticed. Like, you have these entrepreneurs, or maybe a corporation that's like really, that got the pitch guy's really able to sell it, where they start these businesses to get these really high-end paints and foams, where you don't have to go to the dollar store and get this foam board and peel the paper off.
Right. I mean, it's good. The thing is like, you know, people realize that we'll spend some money on this. You know, it's more than a hobby. It's kind of one of those things that, like, I have to do, where I go a little nuts. So, you know, will I drop a little extra on a paint that's going to make my life easier? Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, easily. I mean, hell, like I said, with the filming this, couple of $100 worth of stuff to make sure that I come out like semi-professional, and now I have to use my phone. So, I mean, it's whatever.
Is what it is.
Yeah, you really do have to, like, sometimes you really do have to drop a little bit of extra cash to make sure your stuff is quality.
Right. And there's the other side to it too, where it's like these companies are starting to pay attention to cosplayers. Show them some love,
Absolutely.
Make it to where they want to keep, making products for us.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is like once they do, like these guys or gals go for broke. They love their craft. They love what they do, and they almost go bankrupt. Maybe they move into like an apartment together to like get this business off the ground. And like Germany and I don't think it's just Germany. I think it's the entire EU where they're suing Amazon right now to where they realize, hey, these flexible acrylic paints are selling. Let's make our own now and sell it at a cheaper price. And now that company goes bankrupt.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a risk. As soon as a new thing is introduced, you always run the risk of, oh, hey, that's a neat product. Let me crib it.
Make it for cheap. Just make it cheaper. Like where you may have to be on do they have a waiting list, or have they been able to grow to where they can just throw it out?
Well, they have. I mean, it's the company's Plaid, and they make lots of paints anyway. So they've been able to like manufacture this one pretty quick. But like some of the guys that do foam and stuff like that, when they first started, I mean, it was kind of, when it was in stock, you ran and got what you could because it wasn't necessarily always in stock. So, but that's what cosplayers will do, man. They will spend the money.
Yeah, because I was like looking on YouTube, like I was kind of interested in that when I was like 18 back in like 2013, and they didn't really have.
Bless your heart, you're such a youngling.
I keep forgetting that. I think of myself as this grown, responsible man, and everybody else I talk to is like 30 something. It's like, oh, you're so cute. I'm like,
that's
no, I'm not. I'm a big boy. You can't say that. Hurts feelings.
We a couple of friends of mine and I, we've all been doing this for forever. We've taken to calling ourselves the old gods.
God, I love it.
Because we're the ancient creatures with all these younglings around, and it's like, oh, bless your little heart.
Yeah, you're like, it's like, you don't know the turmoil we went through.
Right.
Trial and error. You don't know the pain.
We made this so easy for you guys. You're welcome.
Exactly. And now you've got a bunch of TikTokers just like millions of views, and you're just like, yeah, guys, I hit 100,000. Woo!
See, I love the idea of TikTok, and people are like, well, are you ever gonna go on TikTok? No.
If it was that camera shyness, I guarantee you'd be a hit.
It's the camera shy thing. It's the whole, like, if I had to constantly produce videos, I would lose my mind. I would be so stressed out. It's just, I don't know. It's that camera shy thing. I like sitting and working and every once in a while popping out and being, hey, look, I did a thing. But the idea of just constantly having a camera in my face is like, yikes on bikes.
That's hysterical. But like, it really is crazy how like rapidly this TikTok thing. I refuse to even have the app. Like I'll sometimes like my wife will like sometimes she'll like show me a funny video, but like how they don't even like how you don't even have to scroll like Instagram or something. They just immediately start playing a video. Like they've got you. They know they've got you. And the TikTok and Fortnite, I don't play those because I know I'm gonna get addicted to them.
That's fair. That's really fair. I don't play Fortnite either. It's just mostly because I don't see. Again, here we come with Martha's a massive introvert. I don't play well with others. So.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, you're not really supposed to play with others. You're supposed to kill everyone. And isn't
but that's the thing. Like, I really like to be left alone when I'm gaming. I'm a very like single player kind of girl. Let me just be alone and run around, and I'm fine. I don't want to deal with somebody else. God forbid somebody say something to me. I'm just like, I'm so done with all this. I'm done with all
Oh, no. You're just
Where's
like,
your
wait,
mother?
please don't kill me. And you just log out. It's like, fuck, a person talked to me.
Right. I'm like, I'm so done. Where's your mother?
I have a complaint to lodge. Jesus, I couldn't. Who'd have thought? That is so crazy. Someone is like seemingly outgoing as you are. Like I see you, like I saw you at SonoCon. You were so out there, just like, yeah, woo, and it just like I can only imagine just in the inside you're just screaming into the void. Leave me alone.
Sometimes by the end of conventions, I kind of am. I have to come home once it's all said and done and rest. And then actually you'll notice, like, when I do a convention, I'll come home and I won't post for a day or two. And it's because I'm taking a break.
Holy shit, I really did notice, like, because normally that would be like, hey guys, had such a great weekend, and then you throw up an album, but no, that I have actually just noticed that now.
Yeah, it's a thing. That's me taking a break. That's me going, okay, now I need to breathe for a minute. And then I'll come back, a couple of days later and basically, hey guys, what's everybody up to? But it takes so much out of me that I have to.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So yeah, there is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love doing conventions. I love meeting people. I love all that stuff. I'm an introvert in the truest sense of the word. Those kinds of things drain me even when I'm enjoying them. Some people that gives them more energy. For me, it takes energy. So I have to kind of go away and reset. And that's also why I don't do a lot of like when I'm a guest at a convention or something like that. If they have after hour parties and things like that, I'll make an appearance, and then I'll go back to my room and go die. And
oh my god, I just realized the 2018 Gump City Con, you did a burlesque show. How bad was that?
I did.
Like, that must have been panic-inducing.
Well, I mean, my background is in dance and theater, so stage is a little different. I can kind of, and honestly, one of the things that I do is I have me, my normal person, and then I have Red, in the same sense that, like, I put on cosplays and become a different character, right?
Exactly. You almost have to at that point.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Red is a whole nother character, and I can put her on and take her off pretty easily. It's one of the things, like, though, with when it comes to things like dating and stuff like that, and people don't understand that necessarily, and they're like, I thought I was dating a cosplayer. I'm like, oh honey, no, you were dating a goblin. I don't know what to tell you.
So have you ever, like, dated a fan and then they're like, for, like, whatever reason, maybe he's, like, super hot, or she, it's, like, super hot, and they're just like, you're not really as outgoing as at the con when I met you. What's wrong? Is something wrong? But, like, that must be weird if that's ever happened.
I have dated a couple of people that did kind of know me on a cosplay level before they knew me as a person, and I have learned that is a mistake.
Yeah, I tell you right now, that is a red flag on a red flag.
Yeah, like, that is a huge mistake, and so I don't really, like, that's one of the things I have kind of this whole, you don't date fans. Because I can never tell who they're interested in. Are they interested in me, or are they interested in the cosplayer? Because she only comes out for conventions.
They're interested in the cosplayer. Like, if they're a fan, I mean, it's not even that they shouldn't be. It's like they kind of have to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing, and I get it, and I don't mind, like, if the person that I'm dating at the time or whatever, if they are into the cosplay stuff too, and they're like, no, that's cool too, I like that you do this, that's fine. But they really kind of need to know that that's not my everyday. Like, I don't wake up in the morning and put on poison ivy. That's not a thing I do.
Yeah.
HR would frown upon that. So
I can only I mean, I'm sure some people like even I was like, oh wow, she has like a person job, like I just assumed you make money off of cosplay.
I mean, I do.
Well, I mean, like a substantial amount of income, like where you need a job.
Well, I mean, I wish. Very
I mean,
few cosplayers make enough to justify not having a job. And my background is finance. I mean, that's I work in finance. So
yeah,
it's one of those things that I understand that even like on months where, I might sell crazy number of prints and just have like, huge commissions or whatever, it might just make a lot that month. The next month it might not be that way.
yeah. Or
So,
it just went back into more equipment and product.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's like you take those moments where it really happens for you that month, and you turn around and you put it back into the hobby, and that's essentially my goal has always been, as far as monetizing this whole stuff, it has always been that if this is my hobby and this is what I love and I do it because I love it, and if people want to, help with that and, throw money at me in whatever way, shape, or form it comes, awesome. It goes back into the hobby. If the hobby pays for itself, I'm a happy girl. And it does. It pays for itself, and it covers my travel costs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a happy girl.
Yeah, because y'all don't really get like the kind of like guarantees that like voice actors get.
Right. No, we don't. We don't work on guarantees and stuff like that. Very rarely do you get a performance fee or anything like that. What you'll get will be, like your lodging will be covered, your travel will be covered, there'll be, a little per diem or something like that. But they're not paying you to be there. They'll cover the expense of it, but they're not necessarily, there's nothing on top of that. So you have to kind of hustle for that part. So
yeah, like I really do feel like that a majority after like what I've heard through our mutual friend, a lot of con owners really kind of like Google cosplayers within a 60-mile radius, and then just the first 5 to respond. It's just like you get a hotel room and that's it, and you're lucky you're getting that. Your following is not that substantial.
It should be, honestly, my whole stance on the whole thing is that cosplayers bring so much value.
Really? I mean, really, they do. They really do.
They do. Between the fact that, we're sitting there talking about your event constantly on our social media, and we have an audience that pulls, and, yeah, I do have people that'll show up at a show specifically to see me. That is something that does happen at every show that I ever do. But also just getting the name of the show out in front of people, that helps. The amount of content that we produce for the show, the panels, the judging, all that stuff, all of our time that goes into it. We provide a lot of content. And then, so many cons, and this is coming from, I help with the convention here in town. And it's one of the things that I've tried to kind of make the point over and over and over again and kind of change the way people think about things. Cosplayers, even cosplayers that come to the event, the ones that, pay a ticket and come in, they're part of the draw for other people. People get just as excited to see all of these people in costumes. There is a reason that almost 200,000 people turn out on the streets of Atlanta during the Dragon Con cosplay parade. There's a reason. It's not because there's, all these stars that come out, because really a lot of them, there aren't a lot of their celebrities in the parades. It's groups of cosplayers. It's
if I don't go to a Comic-Con, and if I go to a Comic-Con and there's not at least 10 to 15% in high quality cosplay, you're running a trash show, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Like, to me, the costumers will tell you what kind of show you're looking at. And the costumers that are attracted to your show will attract other people who are looking for the similar caliber of show. So yeah, no, cosplayers have this just really kind of insane value that I think a lot of people kind of don't see necessarily.
No, and they never do. I mean,
Yeah.
initially they never really do, like, because to put it delicately, there really are, like, I can't think of the word, like, but kind of a underappreciated class of con participant. Like, they're like, well, if you're not going to do it, somebody, like, you may have 100,000 followers or whatever, but if you're not going to do it, there's someone with 1,000 followers that will definitely do it.
Yeah, the competition is fierce in every area. You know, there's always somebody willing to take something on. It's just one of those things. But the thing is, you know, I work with a lot of the same people over and over and over again, and these people contact me over and over and over again because they know that when they contact me, they're going to get a certain quality.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to get a certain level of professionalism, which is, you know, like I said, I work for the convention here, so I'm on the other side of that too, where I'm the one that's choosing and booking people, and having that extra layer of, you know, professionalism and responding to emails quickly, like simple things, business things. You know, popping back to an email really quickly, you know, being able to just like throw out, here is, you know, my press kit that's got, you know, a stack of pictures that you can use in any of your media. And here's, you know, panels, you can choose, you know, pick whatever you want for panels, you know, just the stack of stuff. And so, yeah, no, you have to be that way. The competition is so fierce. There are so many that you kind of have to start setting yourself apart. And I swear one of the easiest ways to do it is just to be this professional, reliable person. They know they can come to you and be like, here's everything you need.
But that in turn also ends up with you overworking, because you do still have to have your 9 to 5. Yeah. And again, that's another thing. It's like I mean, because myself, I'm trying to do 2 episodes a week on this podcast. Maybe the first 4 or 5 minutes or whatever is stuff I really don't want in the episode when I hit the record button, and then maybe like I want to cut out a little bit more because it delayed.
Right.
And I do that during my lunch, like at work. I grab my laptop, I slap it on the table, and I edit the video. I don't really have to answer emails till I get home, lay in bed, and just like look up at the ceiling. But to be a person to like, we need 17. Let's say like MobyCon, or just say MobyCon for just simplicity. Like maybe you'll want 17 people. 150 people apply. You have to go through that many emails and pick up the quality on top of your 9 to 5, on top of your Batwoman armor. No, and you're not, and like, no, you couldn't pay me enough.
Welcome
which you actually won't get paid for.
So last year, let's just talk about last year, because this year is such a wash and such a weird. I've actually kind of enjoyed having some time to like work on my craft a little bit, because last year I didn't. Last year, every costume that I made, I was pushing and rushing because I had things to do and to go. I was away from home 32 weekends out of the year last year.
Good Lord.
I was traveling in a hotel 32 weekends out of the year last year. It was a lot.
Yeah. And then you had to like leave that Saturday afternoon, like, because your work's not going to be like, well, Martha, we understand you're a fairly accomplished cosplayer. Of course you can get off early Friday and come in late Monday. No, that's not going to happen.
You know, I'm lucky in one regard, and that's that my supervisor is pretty cool about things. She's been really great, and I will give her all the credit in the world. But yeah, no, like I have to like get my time in at work, and I have things I've got to do. It's not just a matter of you know you have to be here at this time to like sit there and do. No, I'm fully booked at work. I got stuff going on. but no, yeah, like yeah, I was away from home most weekends. I still produced something like 13 or 14 costumes last year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, for Balzette. Oh, you came out with that bitch like real quick. Like,
yeah, that happened.
The second she was
within about 3 weeks, she was done.
The second she was trending on Twitter, you're like, got it. I already have it. You don't even know.
I remember that because I was at AWA,
yes,
in Atlanta, and I was actually running around at AWA in this. It was later in the evening on Friday, and I had these pair of my horns because I have horns all the time.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of a thing. I was running around with a pair of my horns, and one of my friends is like, "You really need to do this character," and I hadn't seen it at that point.
Woo!
And she pulled it up, and I'm like, done, son, I got this. So immediately went home and made that happen. So
yeah, because Balzette was a meme of the month. Like 2019 had memes of the month. 2020's been a bit too chaotic for the trend to continue, but I don't remember what month. Maybe October. It felt like in October because maybe a Halloweenish kind of thing.
AWA was the end of September. So the very end of September that year. That was before it went to Halloween. So it was the very end of September. Yeah. So yeah, October would have been it.
Yeah, so she came out and then was officially dubbed October. But yeah, because that really meant, because like if she was like April, that'd be like, that's kind of gay. You can't really truly appreciate Balzette in April. It's got to be in like.
That's a bad fit.
That's a really bad fit. Like somebody probably had that idea in like March. And it's like we got to hang on to like late September, October, because that's when she's really gonna shine.
Yeah. No, it was such a funny thing, and it's still one of the most popular ones I've done. I actually need to fix her. Her crown broke. So
yeah, I noticed you had like that round Dollar General kind of foam ball. It's like I couldn't really find quality product in time, so it's just like we're just gonna run with it.
Yep. And then that was the crown broke, and it really was. That was like the last part of that build. And if I'm being honest with you, I was running around like a crazy person. It was not my best quality. What?
Oh, you were racing people. Like everybody else is like done doing it. Because like I was the other person.
I mean, it was a good fit for me though. So
it really was, because you have the build for it. Like Balzette was like this like super thick, curvy.
Yeah, it was all the curvy stuff, and and that's the thing. And it's horns and all that, and I'm like, yep, that was mine. That was me. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, can't do it. God, I couldn't even imagine if TikTok had a hold of that when it was like popular. Like,
oh God, that would have been wild. I kind of, I don't know. Now I'm kind of like mourning the fact that TikTok wasn't a thing when Balzette was. Because that would have been
like in the southeast, it is like if anyone, like no one else really like claimed it like you did. But if like TikTok was a thing, you'd be like, oh, you're doing Balzette from all the TikToks. It's like, no, I built it. Like, this is my idea.
No, this is mine. Yeah, no.
I didn't steal this from anybody. It's like, no, I've seen this from like 7 different TikToks.
Yeah, that's true. I would have liked to have seen people just like, I don't know. It would have been great to see people jump on it though. Would have been fun.
Oh yeah, no, it always is. Like, again, like I go to YouTube and I watch these 20-minute TikTok compilations, and they're all incredible. And it just
stresses me out. Video.
Yeah, it really does. Like I know, like Bruce had a TikTok, and I was just like, "Do you?" But like anyone like that creates needs to have a TikTok.
It's definitely. I mean, as a platform, it has really exploded.
Really.
And it's wild. It's such a bad fit for me. And I'm sad about that. But it is such a bad fit for me. I was like, I can't do it. I'll freak out.
No. You'll do fine. You'll do fine. Like Instagram, like you thought Instagram was a blessing coming out. It's like, yes. I can really but then TikTok comes out and it's just like, no, you just don't even realize.
I've really gotten to where like I love the quickness of Instagram.
Yeah.
Just and the fact that I can, but like recently, I swear, Twitter has been kind of my favorite lately.
Twitter really has been picking up on like the anime side.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. I just love that, like, because, you know, I am this introvert, but I'm also this like just wacky little creative type, you know. And so we'll have these like bursts of inspiration and just say the most bizarre things, and you can do that on Twitter.
You really can.
If you regret it like 5 hours later, it's okay because nobody sees it. It's all the way down there.
Right.
It's kind of wonderful.
It really is. I remember like I was listening to this one YouTube video, and then this guy was like, I can't remember what he was doing, but the statement pretty much went along the lines of, when did it really get so cool for people to start liking anime? I think you owe a lot of people an apology. And I'm like, yeah, no, like that was a scarlet letter back in, like, at least for my high school, but now it's like One Punch Man, Attack on Titan,
no,
Mikasa,
yay! In high
yay!
school, for me, it was D&D. I played D&D and nobody knew it. It was one of those things that I kept on the super down low. Because God forbid.
Worse in Alabama, now you're a Satanist.
I know. It was between that and also like the two, like my two favorite 90s cartoons, where if you said that you watched those, people would look at you like you were insane. But it was the X-Men and Batman the Animated Series.
No.
Which I'm like, those are two of the greatest cartoon series of all time.
Really is.
Fight me on it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think Black Lightning kind of came out, and like the animated superheroes started to be like really cool around that time. But I even remember like third grade, well, like kindergarten to third grade, I remember everybody had like their 50 card stack of Pokemon cards bounded with rubber bands. And then my parents were like, no, Pokemon is like witchcraft and Satanry. And like, I was unfortunately raised in one of those households where like wizards are automatically associated with the devil, and that is not flying under my household. And then third grade, I was like finally able to convince them. It's like, no, it's not. It's actually like the Pope said it's cool. I know we're not Catholic, but I mean,
right? But like, you know, there's.
And then everybody's like, you watch and play Pokemon, loser. I'm like, I missed it.
Can't win for losing, dude.
No, can't do it. And now all that is popular again.
I know. I love that. I actually really love that. We were talking about Pokemon this past weekend. My best friend and I we went over to Bellingrath and we were going through the gardens, and it reminded me we had a couple of projects that we really wanted to get to and we haven't gotten to yet, but one of them was a Pokemon project.
So yeah, it's really weird. There's not really a lot of humanoid Pokemon that would be like, that's a cool cosplay and not freaky at all.
Yeah, but you know, we do it in a way like, you know, with the Gajinkas and stuff like that. I mean, I did that whole the Eevee group that we did. The Eevees playing D&D group that I loved. Okay. I loved that group. It was me, Zombie Fishy, Morris World, and Just Call Me Zero. It was the four of us, and we had I was an Umbreon rogue, because I always play a rogue. And then we had Kat was an Espeon wizard, and we had a Flareon barbarian and a Jolteon ranger, and it was just the coolest thing. Yeah, no, it was so much fun, and it was like seriously one of my favorite projects that I've done, and I love it. And right now we kind of have this idea to do a feudal Japanese Gajinkas. So one of the ones that I've been looking at is, you know, I have a couple of different options with that, and a couple of different Pokemon that I've been like, that would make it cool, and that would make it cool, but I keep kind of coming back to Frostlass. Yeah. Which, I mean, it's pretty humanoid anyway. Yeah. But I just think it would be beautiful.
Yeah, like I remember there was a lot. Like I remember there was a time when like Pokemon humanoid mecha, like Gundams, were like those artist illustrations were really popular.
Yep.
Like you have like a Blastoise with like a feudal, like a really hardcore layered feudal samurai armor. I'm like, that's dope as fuck.
Yeah, no, I love that stuff. Like that's one of the coolest things I think about like the whole nerd community is that you have these creatives in it that take these things and they're already great things. You know,
Oh yeah,
they're already fantastic things. Pokemon are already super fun anyway. But now we're going to take it and we're going to, you know, make it, I don't know, post-apocalyptic or some shit. And it's going to be the coolest thing
right.
you've ever seen in your whole life. Like,
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Like
I
LSD
love that we play with them.
involved with that process. There's like no way like a normal person just comes up with that stuff. There's got to be a heavy influence of something.
You know, I really honestly just think this is what happens when grown-up kids are allowed to play with toys, basically. You know,
Right. There is that aspect too. Yeah.
it's like this is my toy and I can play with it however I want. And we come up with these crazy ideas and they work. I mean, Bowsette's that. That was somebody
Exactly.
playing with a toy, you know.
Like, was that because like the crown was that an actual power up where like Toadette would like get the crown and turn into Peach? Or I mean, because I can't
Not
remember.
that I remember. I think it was really just one of those things that someone was like, "What if?" and it just kind of took off. I don't remember that being a thing in the games.
Yeah, like I don't remember that being an actual power up because I remember like the game theory where they're like, oh, all the toads are male, but in the original comic book, Toadette was a thing, and then she turned into Princess Peach. So like Princess Peach is getting kidnapped so much, they need to have a new Toadette to become the new Peach. But that crown is what she needed to complete the transformation. And someone's like, what if they stole the crown and Bowser accidentally announced Bowser? Oh,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
remember that.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think it was really just one of those kinds of, you know, somebody sitting there, I don't know, drinking too much or smoking. I'm not judging.
Something.
Something, and they're like, okay, so wait a minute, what if? And then we end up with Bowsette, which I'm like, that's fucking great.
Oh, and get Bouette, and like for late Halloween, like woo!
I had Bouette and Chain Chomp and all that. They were all so great. I love Chompette. Chompette was adorable.
Chompette was like on that Wonder Woman weakness kind of thing. It's like, oh no, my chains. I'm like, okay.
No, it was great. To be honest, she had the best color scheme. So there's
yeah, no, easily. And then the sharp teeth is just like, that's a goth girl that let ruin my life, 100%.
Right, exactly. See, we know what we're doing.
Oh, they absolutely know. They know who they're pandering to. They know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard.
It really is not. It's really not hard. So getting into so I know you said like for coronavirus and everything, you really haven't been able to like get into the cosplay as much as you'd want, which you said you actually kind of like. What does that take to get in the door? Like, what kind of gatekeepers are in the way for like from your individuals? Like, I bought this Amazon Thor costume, and I think I'll win because I'm a chick in a Thor costume, and who's not going to love that? Like, what differentiates like that chick to like I'm like a cosplayer that gets like I don't have to seek invitations. Like they already have me on their top 10 list.
Work.
So
that's it. That's really it. That's one of the things that, you know, I say to so many people, it doesn't matter how many followers you have or anything like that. It honestly doesn't matter. If you're looking to get booked by conventions and stuff like that, it matters what kind of content you can provide them. Like we were talking about earlier, you know, with how much cosplayers give them. How much different value we bring, you know, between the judging the contests and doing panels and stuff like that. Work. It all comes down to work. I can't judge somebody's foam unless I'm in it, working on it, making it all the time. You know, what right do I have to judge somebody on a skill that I don't know? So you got to work. You've got to work on your costume. Yeah, you might have 10,000 people telling you you're beautiful, and that's great. That's fantastic. But as a convention person, I can't use 10,000 people telling you you're beautiful. I need somebody that can judge this contest.
Right.
So it's work. That's the difference. The difference comes down to work. And, you know, all of that cosplay is totally valid. Do your thing. But if your goals are to make something of it and to become something with it, you really have to start working on the craftsmanship side. That I spend as much time as I spent away last year. I spent twice as much time, you know, coming home from work, sitting at my table, working on costumes, maybe remembering that, oh God, I didn't eat anything. Jump up, grab a bowl of cereal, go back to your table and crank something out.
Right.
And you know, you have to put in that work. Nobody's going to give you anything. So that's it. That's the difference.
Yeah, no, definitely understandable. So what about the cosplay itself? Like, because I remember, I faintly remember like this, like I think she was like maybe like in the junior division, 16, 17, and like she was asking you like how like she was asking about becoming a cosplayer because that's what I think she was the Ray. Like she might have been like 14 or something, and you're like, oh no, just like show them this, like show them the awards you won. It's like, are these awards like starting out like maybe 16, 17, 18, and like getting these awards racked up? Is that important, just as important as your ability to make the cosplay itself?
No, not necessarily. I mean, honestly, I've never been a big fan of competing. So I don't enjoy competition. I like judging it. Don't get me wrong. I like judging it. But I don't like competing. And I really honestly think that part of that is because, you know, I grew up dancing and I was doing dance competitions and I'm just kind of competed out. Like, I'm just kind of, I don't like that. And then also, you know, I know everybody in the community and I don't want to compete against my friends. I want to cheer for my friends. So I kind of have this, like, there's that. So no, you really don't even have to have, you know, any awards. It's really going to come down to your craftsmanship.
Okay.
I know a lot of amazing craftsmen who just don't compete. But they're stellar craftsmen. So like, it's not that they couldn't win. They could get in there and clean up. It's just not what they want.
Okay. Because I really do feel like it would be super simple for you to get this like superstar Instagram, TikTok person, and they just like somehow corral in these really good artists, and then just like, this is my cosplay, and I'm winning all the awards. But at the same time, you've got someone like your store. Do what now?
It's possible. But I mean, the thing is, though, is like when we go into competitions and stuff like that, when we're sitting there and most of the time I'm sitting on the judge's side of the table. And I can tell you right now that if you didn't make your costume and you try to tell me you did, I'm going to know.
So they may fool the fans, but the inner circle is going to be like, yeah, this is a faker. Like, y'all know. Y'all got it.
Well, because there are certain things that'll always give it away, and there are questions that we will ask. If we're not sure, there are questions that we will ask that will tell us immediately. So yeah, don't ever lie to your judges. Just be honest.
like there'd be like a certain technique or a certain way you would make this horn or this extra piece, and they'd just be like, oh no, I did it this way, and you're like, that's not how you make that.
That's a lot of it, yeah. A lot of times people will parrot back what they've heard, like on a YouTube video or something like that.
Yeah.
But the way that their piece is made is different from what that. So I know that they're just parroting something that they've heard, but the technique that went into it was completely different. One of my favorite ways to tell is, I mean, straight up, you know, if someone comes in, they're like, I sewed all of this. I'll be like, what machine did you use?
Ooh.
And I know my sewing machines. I also know what my sewing machines are and aren't capable of. And some of the things that you'll look at, there'll be a seam on there or something like that that was obviously an industrial machine.
Oh.
Our machines can't duplicate that. You know, and we're talking about a machine that'll take up the whole room. There's no way you've got one, you know. So there are ways. And like I said, it's just better not to lie to your judges. Just be honest.
Okay. So where do you think the futures of Comic-Cons are going to go? Do you think this is something that they're going to be like, hey, we really do like the in-crowd people, but it's a lot more profitable to just have the cosplayers and voice actors live stream from their houses? Do you think that's going to interrupt, or do you think it's really going to be like, we want people in real life? Do you think that the fans would be loud enough for them to listen, or do you think that like Dragon Con's going to be like 2021?
Okay. Dragon Con will come back because Dragon Con, for one thing, Dragon Con is the people. It is the people. Like, I know people who go to Dragon Con that have never set foot in a panel. You know, they've gone for 20 years. They've never gone to, you know, meet a celebrity or anything like that. They're going to be around all the other people. They want to be where the people are. Dragon Con is the people. And I think a lot of conventions are that way. I mean, you know, we talk about all these online events and stuff, and they're great. They really are great. And they've done some really good things. And I have thoroughly enjoyed the ones I've been a part of. But you miss out on so much of what makes a convention a convention.
Yeah.
And, you know, not seeing your friends and not meeting new people and not having these, you know, crazy, bizarre photo ops and stuff like that. You know, you just miss out. I think everyone's trying to come back. I know I just, you know, was talking to a convention owner today. So I know that they're anxious to get back as much as we are, at least most of them. The online stuff, I think, is one of those things that we're kind of like, this is fine for now. But if they kept trying to do it that way, maybe as a supplement, you know, that'd be great. But as the main show, no.
Maybe like a buy or tri-annual event. 2 of them are online, 1 of them is in person.
Yeah, you know, it's just maybe like I said, as a supplementary type thing, yes. But as your main event, no.
Because I remember going to AWA last year, and like half the people that were at the con wanted to go outside to where like people just wouldn't pay, and they're just in cosplay, just outside in like November weather. And I'm like, is it really that dope outside? And they're just like, it's that dope, and we don't want to pay, and it doesn't really matter because what are they going to do about it?
Yeah. No, it's a thing.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, is there like a line they're waiting for? And then like JR was just like, no, they're just not paying for the full weekend, and they're just chilling outside. I'm like, that kind of blows, but at the same time, that person must be really happy about that.
Yeah, I totally get what they're doing. Lobby conning, though, to me, I'm just like, yo, if you want the conventions to stay around, you gotta. That's what it's called. But like, if you want the conventions to stay around, you gotta support it. You know?
Yeah. But a lot of them were really young. So I mean,
it does tend to be a thing that the kids are doing. Kids these days.
Yeah, because I mean, I can imagine because like a 4-day pass at AWA is like 150-ish, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, and it's in Atlanta. I mean,
which is not cheap anyway.
Yeah, like in a lot of hotels, like because I remember like early 2000, I went to like, I can't remember what con we went to, but I stayed with a couple of friends in a hotel, and a lot of hotels are really catching on of like, oh, it's an anime week, we gotta make sure these people ain't sharing rooms because we're losing profit if they do.
Yep, that's true.
They will stack 20 people in a room, no issue at all.
I don't do that. I can't do that. I need to have space. I have a select few people that I travel with that I will share rooms with, and they're it. But I need space. That's the one place where I get a little bit diva-esque. I like my space.
Yeah, right. I couldn't even imagine, like, especially because I mean, because you at least get your like room paid for, but if somebody like the plane ticket or the rental car or the gas price, like you get every penny's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's true. Super true. But the way I look at it with hotels is that if you've got the ability to pay for this space to kind of relax at the end of the day, take it. Because if you can get good sleep, you're going to have way more fun at the con.
Oh yeah, like and that's if like one of your roommates doesn't come back from the rave early because they've got they found them a friend and they need everyone to vacate the room.
Right.
That happens.
I am one of the best roommates ever. One of my friends, Barry Geek Out, he always laughs. We'll travel together a lot. Him and his wife are two of my favorite roommates. And one year we were at Pensacon, and they go to bed fairly early, like 11, 12, not terrible. I stayed out late that night. We were staying in the host hotel, and I was down at the host hotel. Has this really nice bar, so I was hanging out down at the bar. Stayed down there for a while. In costume, the whole bit. Now they will laugh because they don't know how I did it, but I came in that night having been drinking all night in full costume. When they woke up in the morning, they didn't hear anything. When they woke up in the morning, not only was I in bed, they were not aware that I had even come in. I was in bed. All of my makeup was off. My hair was brushed. My teeth were brushed. My costume was not only off of me, but it was put away. I ninja'd into the room, and like they had no idea. While hammered.
I was expecting some wild shit like you met.
No, I am like a ghost.
Like you met a businessman at the bar, and he's like, "Poison Ivy, hey." I remember reading Batman as a kid.
Yeah, about that. No, actually, that was the year that I met this one guy, and it was so funny because he looked at me. I was wearing horns again. I swear, all the stories are like she's wearing horns. I was wearing horns, and he's like, I have a tattoo of you on my shoulder. I'm just like, what? It wasn't actually me, but it was something that he had gotten like forever and ever ago, but it looked like me with like the horns and everything. And I'm like, that's wild. We did end up dating.
Something about horns. Like horns does it for just some people on a weird
It's a thing. It's a thing. I have a page admin for Facebook. Bless her heart. She works hard. I love her to death. She works so hard. But it's one of those jokes that we have where she's like, any time that I post anything with horns, she's like, here we go. It's going to be some shenanigans. Here we go.
Right. I could only imagine, like, and there's like a lot of people, especially on the internet, maybe not as much as like in person in real life. Like, there's got to be some people that are just like no holds bar, like taking you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and I'm gonna make my shot. How bad does that get? Because like guy cosplayers, they're lucky to get invited, but girl cosplayers, like you got to have an entourage of like 350 swole jack dudes. It's like, or it's not gonna be fun.
It happens. It's a thing.
I mean, I don't want to go into it. I'm completely.
It's one of those things. It's like I understand and I appreciate. Yeah, you do. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That is 100% true. And I have told people that on numerous occasions about other people. But it happens, and yeah, and a lot of the times, one of the things that cracks me up is that the ones that are really obscene, because that happens a lot too, right?
Right.
It's like 75-year-old men.
No.
I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I'm gonna need somebody to come get Grandpa and take his computer away. This is not
like
they're walking up. It's like, I remember when the first issue was issued, and I remember seeing it. It's like, no, I don't.
They'll sit there and talk about like they will come out of the gate with some like just really inappropriate stuff, and I'm just like, sir.
Look, 2021 is going to be nothing but, do you have I know you have a Patreon, but do you have an OnlyFans? Like, that's going to be the question.
I don't.
Regardless if you do or don't, that's going to be the question of 2021.
Yeah, that will be. And I have no issues with OnlyFans. Do you think? Honestly, I'm a big fan of, ethical sex work is a good thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Pay these people. God, they're working. Pay them.
Right.
I got no issues with it at all. I just don't know. I don't know. It's some things are just not, it's just not my thing. So my issue is this is like, whoa, we're going into this. Okay.
You don't want to. We don't have to.
Hey, what did I say before? I'm cool with whatever. The issue is that like people have a lot of things that they're into. They're super into it. And I just don't know that I can get on board.
No, that'd be hard.
Like, I don't kink shame. I'm not that girl. You do you. If it works for you, great. But people will be like, you should show, like one of the ones I get all the time, you should show your feet more.
No.
Honey, listen, I was a ballerina. You don't want that. I know in your head that sounds like a great thing, but there is a reason that I don't. I have scars all over. Like, I have literal scars and crooked toes and stuff because I was on point. Like, I taught dance for 10, 15 years. I was a dancer for like 30 years. You don't want to see my feet. I promise.
See, I always thought that was like a bad inside joke. It's like feet. It's like nobody wants actual feet, but they
No, it's a thing.
They're into that.
It's a thing. They're into it. And cool. If that's your thing, great. I would definitely say seek out people that are doing that, because those of us who aren't, there's probably a really good reason, and that reason might be crooked toes. I'm just saying.
Like thighs, understandable. Muffin tops, if you got them, understandable. Feet, like, I don't understand feet. Like, I honestly
there's a lot I don't understand. Yeah. I'll be real with you, and this one is going to crack you up because it's such a thing. It's a me thing. I don't get the obsession with butts.
Well, it's been great talking to you. That don't make no sense. Get off my podcast. What?
I don't get it. I've always hated my butt. And I don't understand how all of a sudden this is like a thing that people are like, they love butts. Like,
that's understandable. That is very understandable.
And I'm just like, I mean, cool. Like I said, more power to them. I just always see like, I don't like it. But it's because it's me, maybe. I don't know. But like, yeah, that's one that I'm confused by. I'm happy for it. It's great. It's been great for me. I'm confused by it.
That's just that. So, like, because I mean, and to be as like gentle as possible, like, because you got it.
There's a butt.
Yeah, there's a butt. Like, you got it going. But to not understand something you have, it's just like, guys, no, there's nothing special about it. Everybody's like, yeah, no, yes, there is.
No, like, everybody's got a butt. I don't get it. That's the thing. I'm like, they're all
not necessarily. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true whatsoever.
So yeah, I don't know. This is one of those things. So everybody's got their things, and that's great. And I don't know. I have one person. God, it's become like a joke with my friends. There's this one person that keeps making Instagram accounts and stuff like that, and I'll block them every time, but they'll come in and they'll share videos and pictures of them doing food things. None of it is sexual. It's just smashing food. But the problem that I have with it is I didn't consent to that. Like,
Wait,
you cannot rope people into your kink without their consent. Like, that's, you
because I
can't.
follow a Twitter account called not smashing, but gripping food with force.
Yeah, one of my friends loves that page.
I love it. Like, it's such a wholesome page, not sexual at all. But so someone makes an Instagram account and shares nothing but food smash compilations.
They have made multiple accounts and will like get into my DMs and send pictures.
What a fucking freak. Jesus Christ.
Welcome to my life.
I mean, at least like an unsolicited dick pic would be expected, but like food, like what? That doesn't make any sense. Like that like messes with his, like, because you're like thinking, it's like, why? What does it mean? Like, at least if it was something like the former, it's like, okay, I understand what that is. There's nothing like into it. I just have to say no or block, and that's it. But like the food, like, what does the food mean? Like, what could that mean?
You know, like I said, I don't want to kink shame anybody. Everybody's got their things. We're all different, all that kind of stuff. But it was a little weird.
I mean, because it might be a kink, but is it a kink? Like, the dialogue just keeps going. It's like, what could it be?
It's you know, I don't know. I'm still kind of stuck on the whole, like, people just jumping into DMs. Is I couldn't do that. Like, but I don't know. I'm shy and kind of insecure. So maybe that's why I can't do it. But
You
like,
gotta worry about that though. Like, again, that goes again to the female-male cosplayer. Female cosplayers, good luck with your career. Male cosplayers is like, wow, you really want to suffer in life, don't you?
I know some really great male cosplayers, though.
Yeah, one. And then
actually, I have a lot of really good. Some of my best friends are male cosplayers, and they're fantastic.
How many?
I absolutely adore them. I really wish that male cosplayers got more attention because they're fantastic. I mean, you think about like our favorite characters and stuff like that, and let's be real, overwhelmingly, you know, these characters are male. You know,
yeah, but you're like, if you're a male cosplayer, you're either roping in really aggressive females or gay dudes. Yeah, I mean,
look, you know, maybe that's okay though. Maybe it's just a matter of like, I just like seeing. That's what it is. I just like seeing guys who are nerds nerd out the same way that I nerd out.
Like, well, yeah, of course you would, because that's what you're into. But like, for a guy to like be a cosplayer, like that's almost a death sentence. That's like, it's hard to make it. Like the guys that you have as friends, how many are there? 10?
Actually a good number. Off the top of my head, I mean, like, 2 of my very best friends that I talk to all the time, but also like these are the guys that I work with my charity group, you know, and and that's one of the things that I struggle with, finding characters for my cosplay group. We have tons of women, tons, but the most popular characters that kids want to see are Spider-Man, Captain America, Batman, Superman. I need guys. And
yeah,
so,
10 guys, and that's it. And everybody else can go for an accounting job.
I need, but also I really do wish that, because, and that's the other thing, like the makers and stuff like that. Like, some of the best makers, the ones that I learned the most from, are the guys. It's SKS Props, Punish Props, WM Armory, Vulpin. Like, those are the guys that are my senpai. Those are the ones that like I look up to. And I wish that, I don't know, I just wish that more guys would do it, because I love seeing it. I love seeing people do cosplay anyway. But I wish that guys would just be more open to the idea. And it's like, shake off this whole idea of, you know, don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about any of the, oh, what are people going to think? Whatever. Who's your favorite character? Be that.
No, that's not at all the issue. That's not at all the gatekeeper. If there's a buff dude, and there are plenty of, they would absolutely love to dress up as any anime character that they would want to. It's just no one's going to care. You, as a cosplayer, you want those male characters because the TV show you're portraying has 5 male characters and 1 female that you can fill the role. Like if you want to do an Oron High School Host Club like cast cosplay, 1 person, you're good. And then you've got 6 other dudes. It's going to be the same 6 dudes that people care enough, just enough to get invited to the Comic-Cons.
Right.
Because there's like 7 or 8 guy cosplayers at a Comic-Con. There's 3 of them.
No, there's not. And I really, but the thing is that,
and they should be.
The change starts with the conventions. The change starts with the conventions booking these guys. And you know, book your girls. That's great. Have them. But also have these guys and show some diversity and start opening the idea so that other guys feel like, hey, yeah, I can do this too. Like I have, you know, a lot of my friends, and I keep a fairly small social circle because I'm kind of that introverted human that we've been talking about all night. But a lot of my guy friends, are they model perfect? No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
Can be.
But they love it. I mean, they absolutely love doing what they do, and they're amazing at it. And I love watching them do it. And I think that it's healthy and good for other guys to see that and be like, all right, I can do that too. In the same regard that, like, you know, I'm not 20 years old. I'm not a twig. You know, that's healthy for other women to see, you know, that I don't look like, you know, an 18-year-old, like, just walked out of an anime. I'm not that. And I'm fine with that, and I'm good with that. It's healthy to see other people see that and go, okay, she can, I can too. And it's the same thing with guys. I mean, like Barry, he's practically my brother. You know, he's amazing. He's got serious issues with his kidney. He's had multiple kidney transplants. You know, he has health issues. And he's amazing. And he is my right hand when we do our charity stuff. We're the 2 that started the thing, and we're the 2 that kind of run everything. And I don't know what I would do without him, but he is also my favorite Captain America. He will always be my Cap. And I absolutely adore him. Josh, my another really close friend, he's practically a brother too. He's always my Spidey. Now him, he's this little guy, but he is a workout nut, and he's, you know, done like Tom Holland's workout because he wanted to like fully commit, not because he wanted a certain body type, but because dude wanted to like flip and run up walls and crap. Like that's what he wanted to do.
No.
He does. It's amazing. Like we've got so many pictures of him, and he's just like jumping off the ground, and he's at everybody's shoulder height. It's wild. But I love seeing it from him, and I love watching him interact with kids. He's amazing with kids. And I have this big cocky monster of a human. It's one of the people that I'm closest to, and he cosplays Thor. And he's this big, cocky monster. And of course he cosplays Thor. He's loud and he's obnoxious. And it's great. And he loves it. And he loves the attention of it. He loves the fact that, first of all, his stupid costume has way too many lights on it. It's way too loud. And so, and he wears it to like Dragon Con and stuff like that. So he's like this big beacon of noise and light. And probably has like a whole like case of White Claw on him, and he's just a hot mess. But he is a walking party, And that's what everyone knows him for, and that's what everyone loves him for, because he is this amazing walking party, and he's a great craftsman. I mean, you want to talk about one of the best craftsmen I know, and that's him. But he's just like, this is a fun time, and everyone should do it. And that's, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it. And I wish these guys got more attention, because they are all so incredibly different, represent so many different types of guys, and I wish more guys kind of saw that and could see themselves in it, and you know, would be open to the idea of trying it, because then once you try it, you get totally addicted, and then you're sitting here painting bracers in the middle of the night, you know, like you do.
Oh yeah, no, I can understand that.
So yeah, but no, like I really do wish that conventions would show more of these guys. It would be great.
Yeah, I really do think it may get to that point one day, but yeah, it's probably going to be an uphill fight.
It's going to take a sea change, and I mean, some of it's happening. When I book cosplayers for our event, that's one of the things that I make sure. It's like, do I have, you know, I might have 4 girls. Do I have 2 guys? You know, or a third of my crew, are they guys? I want that. I want that diversity. It's important to me. And actually, the last group that we had, it was almost half guys. I want to say MobiCon was almost half guys.
That's actually pretty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I say something, I mean it. Like, I really want these things to happen. I want these conventions to see these guys, and they have something different to offer, and it's unique, and they have a really cool, you know, way of looking at things that I've never looked at. You know, like Josh, my Spider-Man friend, you know, when he was talking about panels that he wanted to do for MobiCon, one of the panels he wanted to do was cosplay and working out, and like, you know, what he does, you know, as part of cosplay, that's part of his cosplay to him, and how he builds himself along with his armor. So, you know, but that's a panel I never would have come up with.
Yeah, I remember a lot of like early 2009 to 2012. There was a lot of anime YouTubers that was just like, "Hey guys, you like Dragon Ball Z? Let's start looking like them." They really started, like, there was a really clear divide from your skinny, nerdy anime guy into this jack dude that's got like training to be a Super Saiyan t-shirt on. Like, they really came out the woodwork. Like, I don't know if it was like some buff dude's like, that's some shit to aspire to, or some geeky anime dude's like, hey, let's start doing push-ups while we're watching Dragon Ball Z and getting pumped up.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of that, though. Like, I think that, and there have been different workouts and stuff like that. There's like, this is the Captain America workouts. Like, you know, Josh following the Tom Holland Spider-Man workout. Like, there are all these workouts that are specifically so that you can kind of model yourself to be like that. And I think, you know, if that's, nerds are notorious for not making the most healthy choices all the time.
No.
It's a thing. And I
saw a little bit of flashback with that reaction.
It's like, you know, oops. But you know, if watching, you know, Dragon Ball Z, or if watching Naruto or any of that, if that makes you go, hey, I want to learn how to do this, or hey, I'm going to get strong enough so I can do this, and it makes you change something and make some healthier choices, awesome.
That's great.
And I mean, you know, and if you're doing it because, you know, like, I love this thing and I want to do this thing, and not because I think that I should look this way because society tells me I should look this way, but no, like, I want to look this way because, you know, yeah, I want to be a Super Saiyan, you know?
Right.
Go for it, bro. I mean, like, that's great. I think it's an easier thing to maintain when you have something like that you're just like, you know, yeah, you know, I want to be one of the Spartans at Dragon Con. All right, get it. That's some work. But like, you want to wear your little gold diaper, go for it, boy. I mean, knock yourself out. It's great. I love the Spartans. They're fantastic.
They are. Like, they're a little up there, though.
They're intense, but like, you know, if that's what inspires you, And the thing that I do like, I love about that particular group is that they have like a Facebook group, and they sit there and they cheer each other on, and they like keep each other going, and the camaraderie there is just really cool. So like, if that's what gets you moving, do it. You know?
It really is. It's a bunch of really aggressive straight dudes. It's like, bro, nice pecs this week. I'm like,
I know, like I'm like, this is the most supportive thing. It's adorable.
It is. It can be adorable for you. It's a bit weird. I like a lot of these guys were getting in it to pick up chicks, and now they got a bunch of dudes. It's like, man, your form is great. Look at yourself.
That's healthy. That's healthy. That's
yeah.
You need help with that. I mean, especially if you're new to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Having that guidance is everything. I mean, you know, if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you know, having somebody who's been there before, maybe started where you started, and is like, here, I can help you get to where I am right now, at least.
Yes.
You know, that's always helpful, because if you don't know where you're going, damn, you're lost. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Because you really can hurt yourself if you're working out the wrong way. Because girls, like, you maybe, like, y'all squat the bar, maybe 25 on each side just to, like, plump up. Maybe like shoulders, but dudes are like 250, 225s just, and now your back's broke.
Now listen, though. At my peak.
I'm going to catch some shit.
Here we go. At my peak. Like I said, I was a dancer. I went to college. That was my major, was dance. At my peak, when I was working out in college, I was leg pressing anywhere between 600 and 700 pounds, given the...
Oh, you're a dancer.
Yeah, but 600 and 700 pounds is a lot. I'm also 5 foot nothing.
Right. You are short.
I'm like, yeah, they're so like, yeah, no, I that was easy. I mean, I could bench at least my weight at that point, probably 20, 30 pounds over my weight. I was in super good shape.
You're trying to balance yourself on your toes, and you need to wake up these muscles that have atrophied in your feet for the past 20 years. Or anybody else, they'd be atrophied. Of course, you have to be like lifting insane amount of weight. You need to start bracing those feet muscles that like tippy toe around the stage.
I still do pretty well in the gym. It's just, you know, some body types do, like, heavyweight is just easier for some body types.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of ended up with that, where, like, you know, I'm the Hobbit build. I'm shorter. I'm not willowy.
Nope.
I can pack on some muscle pretty quick, and it's kind of fun.
It really is.
I like it sometimes. I mean, like, I don't ever want to, like, go crazy, and, like, I have friends that do bodybuilding, and that's cool if that's your thing, but, like, first of all, I don't want to be painted orange. I have a real strong opinion about that, and they all seem to be like this weird funky color, and it bothers me.
Wait, orange?
Yeah, have you never seen bodybuilders, like, when they're competing? They're all like, they're painted like what? Well, they're painted like what basted turkeys look like, and it bothers me.
Right. I did not draw that connection.
They're all icky colors. I don't like the color. It bothers me. It really bothers me, because I'm like, that looks like, it seriously does. It looks like the stuff that you use to baste turkeys, and I'm not here for that. But, like, you know, a little bit of muscle's kind of fun. I keep joking with one of my friends, and he won't let me do it, but I keep joking. I'm like, we need to do Ferrator from Mortal Kombat, because he's like this big hulking guy, and I'm, you know, this little short monster thing, and he won't let me do it. And it's because he's like, you just want to sit on my back. And I'm like, okay, no, I want to jump off your shoulders, but
that's
yeah,
besides the point.
it would be fun. Nobody does it. He's like, I'm not wearing a muzzle, and I'm like, I hate you. I mean,
how is he supposed to get fans if he doesn't put a muzzle on? That's like,
right. It's like, you need a muzzle and a saddle, dude. Come on, step up. But, you know, he's doing his thing. Whatever. He won't let me do my thing. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm over it.
all right. So, finally, as someone that has a 9-to-5 and is also a very notable cosplayer and organizer, how does that work as far as your 9 to 5? Was that weird at first? Did you start out cosplaying first? Did everybody just like one day somebody's like, hey, I think there's someone that looks like you dressing up in anime like where's the work-life balance as far as people like
it's funny because I kind of keep it sort of on the down low at work. My page admin I was talking about earlier, we met at the job that I'm at now. She started working about a week after I did.
Okay.
I was already cosplaying at this point. That was already a done deal. But we just kind of, we connected on like a geek level. And so I was like, all right, well, this is what I do on the side. Like once I knew it was kind of safe and she would get it, this is what I do on the side. And so she ended up, she's one of my very closest friends. I love her to death. And she helps me run my page now, but we met through work. My boss knows what I do because with the work with charity and stuff like that, a lot of times, not this year, obviously, because of everything, but but we get calls where we have maybe 24 to 48 hours and we've got to go visit, like a really sick kid or something like that. And those calls are intense when we get them, and we try to get as many people as we can, what we need to get done as quickly as we can. And I'm always one of the ones that's kind of the first to get in there because, I'm helping organize. It's always Barry and me just kind of like, we'll take this. And so my boss has gotten used to me coming in and being like, hey, listen, I got to take an extra long lunch. I'm going to get ready in the bathroom, and then I'll come back and change in the bathroom, and it's fine. And she's really open with it. I mean, like when I do news stuff for Mobicon, a lot of times I'll go on morning news shows and stuff like that in costume. And so I'll be like, I'm coming in late that day. I gotta film a shot on the news. I'll be in late. My immediate department knows what I do because they've seen me walk into the building enough with like wacky stuff on, and it's pretty cool.
You must win Halloween in the department every year, no question.
They don't do that. There's no Halloween competition. They're like, that's not even fair. I've suggested it, and they're like, no way.
Like, of course you want a Halloween competition.
They won't do it.
You can't compete though.
They're so mean. But my department knows what I do. My other departments at my work do not necessarily know what I do. Every once in a while, I'll find one who does. And they're just like, by the way, I totally follow you on Facebook. And I'll be like, really? Because it's such a letdown. And I'm like, I come into work I don't wear makeup. I always ball my hair up like this, like I've been working. It's just like, really? Y'all recognize me? That's impressive. So
you haven't had that Chad moments like, yeah, I see you on Facebook and Instagram. How you like?
No.
Lucky. Because
everyone that I've ever worked with that knows about it has been really cool about it. And oddly enough, like the ones that I've run into like that, it's older women. And they're like, yeah, I grew up a nerd, but like girls weren't nerds when I was a little girl. So I had to keep all this quiet. But like I always read my brother's comic books and all this other stuff. And they are so excited.
Well, yeah, the market decided like way back when it's like, hey, guys seem to play video games more than girls, so fuck the girls and let's pander to the dudes. And like Candy Crush came around, it's like, oh wow, females play video games. Holy shit. Who forgot to tell us that?
We've always played. I mean, that's the thing. We've always played.
Well, yeah, but they really differently knew about it.
Well, and now women are outpacing men in the gaming industry at every genre of video game except for shooters. We just don't like shooters that much.
Well, that's a streamer though. That's on. I mean, and again, that doesn't.
No, that's in buying.
That doesn't value. That doesn't
the people that are buying them. Women are out buying men in video games.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah, women have been out buying men in every category except for shooters.
See, there's going to be a lot of fanboys listening to that and just be like, 2020 is the best year.
I mean, like, I can tell you, like, I've been a gamer nerd. Like, that's my primary, like, if I had to pick my biggest nerd area of expertise is gaming. I'm a gamer nerd from like way back. Like my original system that I played on, my first games that I played are all things like old stuff. Like I played Gauntlet on my Commodore 64.
Jesus Christ.
My first like the game that I first got like super obsessed with was the original King's Quest, where you like were typing in commands and stuff like that.
Yeah, the buds, right?
Yeah, like where you would like go in and the one that I always like kind of laugh about. I'm like, who put this in there? Where you could like type and there'd be like a little goat in the pen, and you could put ride the goat, and you would go and jump on the goat's back and ride it around, things like that. But that was like my original fandom was always gaming. And then from there, it's like I've had every Nintendo. I've had so many systems. I had opinions. God, when PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 came out, I had opinions about both. And I ended up with PlayStation 3 because the 360 controller was so big. And I have these little tiny hands. It massive.
Really was. It really was.
And it was uncomfortable for me. Like to sit there and play for long periods of time, it was really uncomfortable. Yeah, I was having to like reach across and I couldn't. But so the PlayStation 3 fit better. And at the end of the day, that was what made my mind up. And, I've kind of kept with PlayStation since then. Although now, like the Xbox controllers have gone back down. They're smaller again.
Yeah. So everybody found out that slim was where it's at. Xbox was really going towards like our demographics is guys, and guys are rough and they might break them. So let's thicken them up and make them a little prettier.
Yeah, and it just didn't work for my hands, and that was really, that's when people, they'll ask what system, and I'm like this because of this one thing.
Right.
This one thing, but it was such a thing. I played for hours, for hours. I can't be like trying to reach across.
No, and you have to be comfortable. That's why game chairs are so prevalent, because you can't be sitting on a stool and like hunched over and then like your back's, you're gonna fuck up. Like you need to have a pillow back here.
Yeah, like you need to be in like a comfortable ergonomic position or whatever, and your hands have got to be comfortable. So yeah, that's how I ended up with PlayStation 3. So, but yeah, I'm a gamer, like from way back. I remember, God, like Baldur's Gate, and
I never even played that. I remember listening to the audiobook for Ready Player One, and they brought that up. I was like the Commodore 64. They're like, that was one of the hints for one of the gates in Ready Player One. Like one of these things. You'd just be like a female that's not like a 18-year-old TikToker. It's like Commodore 64 for like some weird thing. Like for like a female to be like Commodore 64 and know it in context. That's like.
That's what I started out playing.
Wild.
That was where I started. And I've always been, I lean heavily to RPGs. Baldur's Gate was a BioWare game. I love BioWare. BioWare, that's the thing, I have like opinions about studios and things like that. Like I adore BioWare. BioWare is my be all and end all. I actually don't nerd out about people that I meet at conventions, except for voice actors from specifically Dragon Age, but BioWare in general.
Okay.
That's the only time I ever nerd out is certain voice actors, and that's because they are my characters. Like, when I went to CoastCon a couple years back, they had Steve Bloom, who absolutely love. And I brought my copy of Dragon Age Origins, and everybody else brought, all of his other stuff, everything else, which, there's so much. Holy crap, there's so much. They brought all this other stuff. I am the one that shows up with Dragon Age Origins video game and pulled the insert out, and he's like, can I write whatever I want on it? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Write whatever the fuck you want on it. I don't care. And so he plays a character in Origins named Oghren, who's a dwarf. He's a drunk all the time, and he says these ridiculous things. And his favorite line from Dragon Age Origins was what he ended up writing on my game, and it's "Fart me a lullaby" with his signature, and it is my favorite thing. But yeah, no, like I'm a hardcore gamer nerd. That's it. That's my thing.
That is like again, that's really fantastic. Like again, like I always knew there was some girls like into it, but I didn't know there was girls like into it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like most of my girlfriends are seriously into, I mean, that's one of the reasons that we're friends, is because we are going to sit there and talk about games. We talk about the same games. So I think it really just depends on like what types of games you're playing and what the audience looks like. Honestly, the BioWare community is heavy on women.
Yeah.
It's very heavy on women. RPGs are very heavy on women. Fallout. There are a lot of women that love Fallout.
Fallout.
Fallout is huge. The Fallout group at DragonCon is primarily women. Overwatch has a lot of, I mean, it just kind of depends. But like, yeah, especially the ones that I am most familiar with are like the BioWare franchises, Elder Scrolls, Assassin's Creed, not so much the most recent stuff. I like the older games. For me, really, Assassin's Creed peaked at about the second Ezio game. And after that, it was like,
maybe you can pull yourself out of the pit with Valhalla, but we'll see.
I'm hoping. And it looks beautiful. Like, that game is visually stunning. One of my friends just picked it up, and I'm curious to see what she says. But it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's sad though, because it's gonna be either Valhalla, Among Us, Fall Guys, or that what's that? That's that Cyberpunk game with Keanu Reeves.
Cyberpunk 2020.
Cyberpunk, yeah. So Among Us and Fall Guys are really neck and neck for Game of the Year. So unless these games really come out of it, like nobody indie games are going to win Game of the Year.
Yeah. You know how I have thoroughly, like, Fall Guys amuses me to no end.
Oh my God, it is so fun.
It is the most fun. It is so stupid. It is the most fun. And I don't know. I love it. I love Among Us. I actually am working on an Among Us cosplay right now while I'm doing this. I'm also doing
okay. So, all right. But
yeah, we have a little group going on. There was a little discussion about what hat everyone's wearing. It was a little fight. Not a fight, really. It's okay.
Someone's gonna bring their niece. It's like, this is my little Among Us kid.
I mean, you know, that's an idea. I was actually thinking about making a little plushie.
I thought of that. Do that.
I know. I'm like, who do I have that's short? That's like little. I don't know that I got any little people around me.
Like, contact that kid that did Goku that last year at the con.
Oh, yeah, I love her. She's great. Ari, she's fantastic. That's one of my favorite children.
Wait, so that wasn't some rando kid. That was an established child cosplayer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Her mom is a friend of mine, and she's absolutely adorable. I mean, like, she's been doing this stuff since she was born, I swear. She just kind of like
to it too. She just went like straight, like no holds barred.
She loves it. She loves it. That is her thing. You want to know the funniest thing? That kid is just like, she keeps cosplayer hours. Like, she'll be up late at night at a con, and I'll be like, "Girl, why aren't you in bed yet?" She's just having fun, doing her thing.
Girl, oh my God, that was such a breath of fresh air. Just that little, like, because that was like 3 or 4, like barely.
Yeah, she was tiny. She was really tiny. She's adorable. I love it. I love seeing kids in cosplay. Like, they're so cool.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, no. Yeah, I have an Among Us costume I'm working on right now. So yeah, I don't have a Fall Guys, but believe me, I have sat there and looked at the possibility of doing like a mascot suit. But then I'm also sitting there going, my fans wouldn't get that. I put so much effort into that, and they would hate it. But it would be so great.
All right. Well, look, it's been about 2 hours now. Let everybody know where they can get a hold of you at.
Little Red Fox Cosplay on Facebook, on Instagram, and then on Twitter it's Little Red Fox Cos.
Okay. Any Comic Cons? Any last minute Comic Cons?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I have a couple of things in the works that hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can start announcing. Obviously, with everything happening, cons are a little hesitant to be like, yeah, we're going to be back.
Right.
So they're kind of trying to get a read for what's happening.
That did not stop Savannah. Savannah's like, fuck it. We're going to do it.
A lot of people are, and like more power to them. I'm just kind of like, I'm one of those that I'm like, if I'm looking at the money of it, yikes.
Yeah, no. It's like, are the numbers low enough to where you're going to be, like, they're going to be like, yeah, no, it's finally over, let's go, or like, maybe there's, like, a really huge tick, like, if there was a Comic-Con this weekend, every day for the past 5 or 6 have been 120,000 or more, it's like, nope, not happening.
No. Yeah, it's a weird environment right now. So we're all just kind of playing the waiting game, I guess, to see what happens. But I do have some things in the shoot, so as soon as they can be announced.
All right, so Little Red Fox Cosplay, guys, be sure to follow her. All right, well, it's been great talking to you. We're definitely going to have you back on. Talk to you later.
Absolutely. It's good to talk to you, Annie.